Brothers of Steel.
Crap. Well, howdy folks, and welcome back to the garage. Today I'm looking over the new M4FL10 premium medium tank that's recently arrived in the game. This tank's not in the store though, nor is it in crates. It's presented as a pop-up offer for $19.99, which I think is pretty reasonable as far as Wargaming's recent pricey offerings. Also, this is not a fantasy tank. Several of these were put together by the Egyptians in the early 1950s. Having the hulls on hand already and having changed the engines, they purchased AMX-13 FL10 turrets from France. These tanks were used in the 1956 Sinai crisis, and they did not do well, with Israel capturing about 12 of them, it seems. Let's look at it a little closer, and you can see if you think it's worth the money. Based on the M4A4 hull, the M4FL10 is packing 76mm on the front, 40mm of armor on the sides and rear, and while the frontal armor is well sloped, that won't be enough to compensate for its light weight, and it will not bounce many shots. Sides and rear will only bounce shots when RNG is extremely favorable. The turret armor is no better, worse in fact, with 76mm on the front, which is actually nicely sloped, and 30mm on the sides and a scanty 20mm on the rear. With a relatively light weight of 28.21 tons as I have the tank equipped, and I must stress here folks that all the specs I'm going to tell you about performance and such are as I have the tank equipped, and what I've got is improved fuel, protective kit, and field rations loaded. So, as we were saying, relatively lightweight, 28.21 tons. The 495 horsepower engine, it does give us 17.5 horsepower per ton power to weight ratio, which isn't bad, but it's not that awesome either, but it won't blow your hair back. You know, it's not super zippy. The vehicle does have a top speed of 52 kilometers per hour, where that will only happen on a downhill slope most often, as far as my experience goes. Wargaming lists its average speed of 32 kilometers per hour, and I would agree with that. Hull traverse speed, it's pretty good at 61.27 degrees per second, and when combined with turret traverse of 56.37 degrees, nobody is going to get around you. You will always be able to keep your gun on them. Terrain crossing capacity is okay, with 111% on road, 80% on ground, and 70% when in the water. Now, the gun is interesting. It's the French SA-50B 75mm gun, and it's the real star of the vehicle. What I like about this gun is that it's like an autoloader in a way, but you can fire the shells as they load. You don't have to wait until the whole magazine reloads before you can fire. And it only takes just under 11 seconds to reload the full magazine anyway, or you can fire as the shells load, and these times are not bad at all. First shell loads in 4.04 seconds, as I have the tank equipped, the second in 3.59 seconds, and the third shell will load in 3.14 seconds, really. While in battle, it felt like I always had a shell to fire. Rarely did I feel like I was waiting to be able to fire again. Aim time of 3.9 seconds and dispersion of just 0.323 are quite good, as is the penetration of 144mm with regular AP. Spicy APCR ammo will deliver 202mm of penetration during those situations where only spicy ammo will do, while the HE penetration is a bit light at only 38mm. Your regular AP ammo does an average of 160 hit points per shot, and the spicy ammo taking a bit of a hit at only 135 hit points damage. At the rate of fire we have here, this translates into a damage per minute figure of 2,143 hit points using regular AP, which is respectable at tier 7. Gun elevation and depression angles are both mediocre at best, with 8 degrees of elevation. Well, that's pretty nasty. And 6 degrees of gun depression, still not very good. Peaking over hills or rises doesn't really work with this tank. I also found myself easily spotted in this tank, so I think that its camo coefficient is likely not great. So how would I play this tank? Hang behind your heavies to support them, or flank the enemy and shoot into their sides and rear. Because your mobility is mediocre, and because you have cheesy armor, you can't scout and you can't brawl, really. I say really because I have survived several close encounters with more maneuverable tanks who also had a fast-firing gun, but honestly, it doesn't usually pay off. So far, most of my successful battles have been hanging out the heavies, supporting them from behind the line or flanking as they brawl with the enemy, and using the gun to wear down the enemy health pool. Your own health pool is at 1,250 hit points, which at tier 7 is alright, but be stingy and sell them dearly so you can stay in the game longer and keep that gun working. Flanking the enemy will actually help out your chances of penning heavy tanks, since your 144mm of pen is a little light if you end up fighting higher tiered heavies. Well folks, that's my quick and to-the-point review of the new M4FL10 Premium Medium Tank that is popping up as an offer as you play the game right now. Having played several battles in it already, I do consider the price of $19.99 to be reasonable and well worth the expenditure for this tank despite its unbalanced specifications. It's just been really fun to play so far, and we need things to be fun. Alright folks, thanks for coming out, thanks for watching, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I'll catch you on the next one.